All right, so let's go over this exit ticket. The first problem says solve negative 3x plus 2 is less than negative 22. So I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it over here. So the first thing is you always want to separate your inequality into two sides. Box in the variable, whatever's with it. So we're going to leave negative 3x alone. So this is our starting side, and we want to get rid of plus 2. So the opposite is negative 2, so that'll give us 0 if you type it in. So minus 2 is going to give us negative 24. So now we bring down the negative 3x is less than negative 24. The next step is we want to get this x by itself. So if I read it, it says negative 3 times x. So the opposite of negative 3 times x is to divide by negative 3. So I do that on both sides. And this should trigger in your brain that there's something special you need to do when you divide by a negative on both sides. We're going to have to flip this inequality sign. So now instead of facing this direction, we're going to turn it. These cancel out, and so now x is greater than, if you type this into your calculator, a negative 22 divided by a negative 3 is going to give you positive 8. So x is greater than 8. So the answer should have been D. Number 2, what is the solution to the following inequality? So let's rewrite this. We have D minus 5 divided by 3 is greater than or equal to negative 4. So step number 1, divide your inequality into two sides, and you want to leave the variable, whatever it's with, alone. So this says divided by 3, so we're going to do the opposite and multiply by 3. And since we're multiplying by a positive 3 on both sides, we are not going to flip this sign, we're going to leave it alone. This cancels out, and I have D minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 12. Now, I want to leave the variable alone. So it says minus 5. The only way to make that equal 0 or to go away, do the opposite, is plus 5 to both sides. So now I have D is greater than or equal to negative 7. And you can type this into your calculator to make sure you got the right answer. So the answer here would be A. D is greater than or equal to negative 7. All right, number 3. Which graph best represents only the solutions to the problem 2p plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 12? So you go ahead and separate your inequality, and we're going to leave this portion alone, the variable and what it's attached to. So we need to get rid of a positive 3, so we subtract 3. Positive 3 minus 3 is 0, and we do the same thing to the other side. So now we're left with 2p is less than or equal to negative 15. 2 times p, the opposite is divide by 2, and we're dividing by a positive on both sides, so we are not going to do anything with our inequality sign. We're going to leave it alone. So p is less than or equal to negative 7.5. And you can type that in your calculator just to make sure. So the one thing that I do know is I have the line here. It says or equal to. So I know my dot has to be colored in. So it cannot be B and it cannot be D. And since it says P is less than, I know less than means go to the left. So the answer is going to have to be C because this graph is going to the right, which would mean greater than.